Everybody to the June 8th meeting of the Budget Finance Investment Committee. We've got a long agenda tonight, so we'll jump right in. Ask if everybody hopefully had a chance to look over the minutes from the May 24th meeting, and if so, we'll entertain a motion on those minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer. Commissioner Jernigan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll move the trustee to the bottom of the agenda, being he's not here at this time. General fund budget amendment transfer for the trustee. Well, we got the fund condition report. Ms. Nolan.
Okay. All right, starting with development tax. In May, we collected $606,750. That brings our total after some paybacks to $5,572,500. Our revenue at the end of May, our cash at the end of May totaled $269,558,000, with $217,076,000 being operating funds and $52,483,000 being borrowed funds. As I was looking at this, the only thing that really, one of the things that jumped out at me was, one, the general fund, how close it is. It's just within about $90,000 in cash of where we were last year. Mark and I had conversations about whether that's indicators of, add to fund balance or decrease to fund balance. Debt service, when you look at that, that's a reminder that in last fiscal year, around May, we had a capital outlay note interfund of about $15 million. So when you add that to it, it doesn't look so much different. Okay. Any questions on that? I'll just briefly touch on the revenue. As we've said in the last couple meetings, when you compare where we are to our budget and compare to where we were, as far as how much we've received of the funds, actually, then because it's so much, we would be having revenue adjustments, and that's what you will see tonight. We will be adjusting our budget for revenue for pretty much every fund. The interesting thing also on this first page that I show you with the general fund and the ambulance fund is, I'll step on Teb's toes, that they've done a phenomenal job in collecting the property tax roll as of the end of May. It's May 31st, not 30th. They collected 98.2% of the tax roll. Pretty darn good.
Any questions of Ms. Nolan?
Motion to approve is presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Ely. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, being the trustee was late, we said we were moving to the bottom of the agenda, but since he is such a nice guy, we'll go ahead and take him and
Let it slide one time.
Thank you.
investment report. Mr. Bailey.
I was downstairs working. I looked up and I said, oh, it's 5:30. Good evening.
You can thank Ms. Street because you just got ahead of her because she was fixing to go.
So I'll be quick. How's that? We the LGIP rate, which kind of the base rate work off of, is up 4 basis points, and we had kind of have an unusual. Each year we have a little CD for the Eagle Valedictorian, so we bid that one, and that bid was 1.13 basis points. And then we had one of our regular bids, and it wasn't 120 basis points, or 121 is an APR on that bid.
Any questions of Mr. Bailey?
Motion to approve this report.
Thank you, Commissioner Petty.
Second.
Commissioner Allen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we've got a general fund budget transfer.
That we just need to move some money over out of a couple of funds into, I think, into office furniture. We need to purchase a desk. We've moved one of our clerks off that does the tax freeze, tax relief, and kind of rearranging, so we just need a desk to put that person.
What wishes of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Bond? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
You
Thank you,
sure?
Tab.
Thanks, sir.
It's not a recliner for your office, right?
No, it is not. No recliner, no couch. That's exactly right.
Have a good evening. All right, Risk Management Financial Report. Ms. Street, welcome.
Okay, we'll start with Fund 264. Ending in the month of May, we had revenue in at $7,297,396. We had expenses into $5,938,048. Our variance by month was a positive of $1,359,000, and calendar versus fiscal year variance showed a negative difference of $1.8 million. Looking at the calendar period year-to-date revenue versus expenses, current revenue $27,857,000, $3 for prior period, with current revenue being $27,921,576. Those are expenses, I apologize, with revenue being $31,113,283 prior period versus current of $33,602,357. When we look at the fiscal period, we show for a prior period revenue of $57,816,253 compared to current period of $59,982,644, with prior period year-to-date expenses at $61,229,865 compared to current of $61,811,053. And then the last page just gives you calendar year versus fiscal year information. If you'll look at the 2017 calendar year revenue versus expense comparison, you'll see a positive variance of $5,680,781 compared to a fiscal year comparison of 2016-17, with the difference there being a negative $2,047,511. Within Fund 266, ending in the month of May, we've got a year-to-date of $705,502 compared to prior year of $542,701.
Any questions on the report?
Motion to approve the report.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne.
Second.
Commissioner Allen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, Melissa. Now, the Tennessee Recovery Court Grant for Drug Court. Mr. King, take it.
Thank y'all. How are y'all this evening?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. The first one is for the Recovery Court Grant, and it is for $107,500, no matching. It's the same recurring grants that we get every year from the state.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Jernigan. Any further questions of Mr. King? I feel sure he's raring to explain anything. If not, call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Okay, we've got a Tennessee Veterans Court Grant for Drug Court.
This is a $70,000 grant from the state, no matching funds, same thing that we get every year,
No surprises.
no surprises.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Payne. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely? Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Motion passes.
Okay, I do have good news.
Okay.
This was good news as well. It's 177.5. That's not coming out of general fund. The good news is, if you recall, last December, I guess it was, when I came before you indicating that I'd like to apply for $1 million federal grant to enhance the drug court operations and to kind of get into the mental health court, the co-occurring, dealing with those offenders. And that was through through SAMHSA, the federal government. Well, they sent an email yesterday advising us that we were selected one of 20 nationwide, and we got the $1 million grant.
Congratulations.
So that'll be $342,000 over 3 years. So that's
Any
huge.
matching funds we have to come up with?
No matching funds.
Sounds good.
What kinds of things will you spend that money on?
Part of that, about $240,000 will be for salaries for a new therapist, a new case manager, and 2 peer support specialists. And then that will also cover 25% of my salary total. So that'll help, because part of that was coming out of some of the others and out of the general fund. So that will help offset our cost to there. The other part will be $60,000 each year will be available to the co-op and the guidance center to help offset medication cost for mental health medication. And then MTSU has agreed to partner with us to do all of the budget and as well as the data analysis, and that'll net them about $60,000 as well each year. So it's spread out throughout the community, but it's a great grant. We were lucky, we were
How
fortunate.
many more people will this allow you to help?
Total in the 3 years, about 180. 60 each year is what we're pushing for. And this is huge. It was much needed, so. We did good. Out of 20 nationwide, that's pretty,
It's pretty darn good.
Congratulations.
Kudos.
so that's good. So that was a good thing, but I'll bring it to you before the committee once we get all the paperwork to sign and to go forward.
Will you be at the commission meeting next Thursday night?
I can be.
I mean, I would think this is a pretty big deal. We'd probably like to get him to get up and say exactly what he just said to this group, to the full commission, and whoever's in the audience and watching on TV. I mean, it says a lot about the program you put together to be one of the chosen ones. And I would ask that this be he be given a chance to make this presentation
We
to
just
the
let him
full
do it
commission.
under public comments.
Pretty fine.
I'll be here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Congratulations. We've got a general fund budget amendment for human resources. I don't see Ms. Sonia. Are you? You got
I'm
that?
covering that, and she was needing additional money for evaluation and testing, and of course, she didn't have it in her budget, so we're gonna tap into the pooled gasoline amount and pull it out of there to fund her $7,000 needed.
There's one place to get it.
And these are drug screens, things like that. Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, I believe, won that race.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Is that because we had a lot of turnover as to why that increased, or did the prices just go up when the testing and all that?
Turnover, I would say.
Yeah, the turnover's what she told us before.
Turnover.
Heather, are we through talking about turnover? Okay. General fund amendment for fire and rescue. Chief Farley, welcome.
Had two.
Night.
Good. I got 2 budget amendments tonight. First one is sale of equipment at $42,750. I'd like to move that the 44,530 line item into our 79 line item for other equipment. And then I've got
I only see one here.
What that is?
Huh?
What have you got there?
that one we used the.
That's mayor signs off on that and you're done with that.
Doesn't have to come here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's all I got. I didn't realize that.
Well, miscellaneous things, we don't get to hear about that.
Mayor has that authority.
Okay.
I was looking, I didn't see another one.
Yeah, you scared me to death.
That's just a little one. Man, I've got one budget amendment in.
I make a motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer. Commissioner Jernigan. Any questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Thank you, Chief.
Sorry, Mark, didn't mean to give you a heart attack.
There's just a few coming through.
Next, proposed contribution toward the fire hall at Eagleville. And we've got some Eagleville diplomats with us tonight, and the commissioners here. Commissioner Reed, you want the chair up here?
Make sure there's nothing room for those in the
Thank y'all for having us this afternoon. I'm Andrew Ellerton, the city manager for Eagleville with Mayor Brown. We also have a few council members with us. Chris Hendricks, John Marshall, and Bill Tollett are with us here tonight as well. This request that we brought is based on our need for a public safety facility in Eagleville. This is really just a brief presentation that we brought to the Public Safety Committee a couple of weeks ago, and so I won't go through every single detail that we talked about with them. Of course, we'll be glad to answer any questions, but on the second page, it's pretty straightforward, a picture of our current public safety building. We have a very small building that was at one time even City Hall, serving along with police and fire in the same building. It was originally, though, a gas station and an auto mechanic shop. Clearly a building never intended to house a fire department, police department, and certainly not Class A size vehicles. And we're in a position now where we have insufficient space for the vehicles we have. And the spaces were already too small for those size vehicles. But the building also just lacks square footage in general. It's been added to over the years, but the fire department side essentially consists of two rooms, one office for the chief and one office / day room / storage collection / everything else for everyone else. And we're really just kind of bursting at the seams with equipment and supplies and things that they need access to. There's also there's not even a full bathroom in the facility. There's a half bath shared by both sides of the building. But in terms of ever having consideration for 24/7 fire protection, I mean, just having lockers and shower facilities and things like that are some basic necessities that we'd be lacking in this building. And certainly we're making do with what we have and have for some time, obviously, but even on the police side, there's a need there for more up-to-date storage, more up-to-date evidence lockers, just things like that the fire department may need. So our solution has been, and we've been working on this for over a year now, is, without more description, a more modern public safety facility to house both departments. What we're planning towards is a 3 drive-through apparatus bays that would house up to 6 Class A vehicles. One of our vehicles right now is even housed in an off-site location that we rent across the street just because there's nowhere to keep it out of the weather, out of the freezing temperatures in the winter. This would be able to house all of our vehicles now and for considerable foreseeable growth. It would obviously include living quarters, modern amenities that a police and fire department should expect to have, lockers and showers and day rooms, that kind of thing. The location we're looking at is adjacent to City Hall, just behind City Hall, which is off the building would be 30 yards from our existing building. So we're still very central to both Eagleville and District 45 of the county that we serve. We're also hoping for, and this is kind of not as high priority obviously as these immediate needs, but a training room, meeting room, some kind of a community space interior to the building that could serve multiple functions, training rooms, community space, but also maybe a safe room where, in inclement weather, catastrophic weather, people from outlying areas might have somewhere safe they can come if they need to abandon their own home for some reason. We anticipate this project could exceed $2.5 million. We have been in discussions with USDA, their Rural Development Community Facilities Program, and they've indicated there's no reason we would not be eligible for loan financing through that. So far, we've taken several steps that the city has just cash flowed. First off, we worked with UT's Municipal Technical Advisory Service to just take a look at the land where we were anticipating building. If we're going to build a building, is this the right spot? And as I mentioned, their reaction was, you can't get any more central to your service area, whether that be Eagleville or District 45 of the county. So location-wise, we have a great spot. They also were able to give us some early indicators on what we should be looking for in terms of space, and so that's kind of where we came up with some of the square footage that we anticipate. We've also, following that study, we had a geotechnical engineering study done on the land just to make sure there were no surprises in terms of what we might not see below the grass, and we didn't have any red flags there that would cause us alarm. And more recently, we have hired an architect to start planning through this process with us. We're in the very early stages of that, and we've also purchased land that's immediately behind the existing police and fire building, adjacent to this one also, that to give us some more flexibility in terms of site planning. So if the architect says, it'd be really great if we got 10 more feet here, we've got the 10 more feet or whatever it might be that we need. So that's really the project in a nutshell, and obviously we're requesting financial support from Rutherford County on this, and the next page really tells the story as to why. What we're requesting at this point, I think if you have it in your packets, is $500,000 over the course of 5 years. The city of Eagleville is only 2.1 square miles, whereas our fire department serves District 45, which is roughly 36 square miles. Population difference, about 35% of the population in the district is inside the county. The rest is inside the city limits. The rest is in unincorporated area. And even breaking it down by call volume, that breakdown is very similar to where 60+% of our call volume is actually directed outside of the city limits. I know that's rapid fire, a whole lot of information at one time for a very large request, but we believe this would be a great project in partnership, not just for the fire department side, but also on the police department side, because both our police department and fire department work very closely with Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and Fire and Rescue.
What are the plans for existing space?
There's not any firm plans for the existing space, but we own the building. The city owns the building and the land that they're in. There's also a very small lot right behind it that is, for some reason, separate. I don't know the history of that, but we own that as well. And then there is a home behind all that somehow years ago became a lot that's landlocked. We've since purchased that. That's the one I mentioned that we just recently purchased. So I would anticipate that we have some opportunities there for future development. There's really not anything on the forefront. I don't know if that might be some future public use or if it might be some future private use where we might be able to recoup some costs to apply to principal on this project overall. I'm sorry. And there's also a space in the back of the property that we just purchased that gives us some opportunity to potentially put like a training tower, I guess is, for lack of a better term, that's what it is, a training tower for the firefighters to train on, some additional parking and things like that in the back that we might be able to take advantage of, but aren't necessarily critical to the primary project.
The building itself is all for fire department use?
And police and fire.
So what part would the police be using? Would they be using the bays also?
Right now, I'm not trying to commit bay space to the police department. This whole project really came about primarily out of the need of the fire department. In the interim, I mean, in the early stages, until the fire department grows to the point that they need every square foot of that bay space, then, I mean, the police officers would have access to it, sheriff's deputies, if they needed to, would have access to it. But that's not really our primary purpose of the bay space.
I guess we go to the second to last page, it's got the floor layout there, and it shows that where the police department will have their offices, and also there'll be a secure area down there for evidence, and that whole ground floor area will be, once you get past that lobby area, it'll be a secure area where it's not free access to the public. They're gonna have to be with somebody with a key or card access or something like that.
And this is not a firm floor plan. This was a concept that the architect presented when we were soliciting architects, and so we've just kind of used this, but to some degree this covers all the elements that we'd like to see.
Who's next, Mr. Mayor? Chief Farley? Who wants to weigh in next?
Well, I mean, we sort of came up with this $500,000. If we didn't have an Eagleville Fire Department, we would need a fire department out there, either volunteer fire department or one of our own. So we'd have to have them in a building. So I think this number would certainly probably in the neighborhood of what it would cost us to build one. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to partner with them, and we'll get substantial assistance out of this. Ever how many areas, what the square miles is on District 45, and they're already helping us out there and responding when they can. So it's a good partnership, and I think it's a good idea for us to try to help them develop and improve. And this will require some effort on the part of both of us, if you approve this, to identify and put in some sort of writing, some interlocal agreement language that would tell both of us what our responsibilities are.
Chief Farley, you want to add much?
Well, basically, one of the issues they face is the same thing we face at Rock Bell. The new apparatus we're purchasing and buying, it will not fit in the Rock Bell station, nor will it fit in this station right here, because the doors are so narrow and so short. So, I mean, if we were to buy a new apparatus for them, they wouldn't be able to house it in the environment they have now.
Were you in support of a partnership with Eagleville? And
Oh, yeah.
y'all got a good working relationship already?
Well, anytime they call, they have a structure fire, our Barfield station's always there with our full-time guys, and we work with them a lot.
I notice it says here 5 miles from station. Is that a hard line, or is that just if there's a fire that's 6 miles from station, are UCI still going to participate?
Yes.
I mean, or is that a hard line?
If our guys are there and they give us the call, we'll go.
Well,
I mean, we're there to assist whatever needs, and he kind of touched up before, our same with our police department, our guys are dual sworn, both city and county officers, so if we have a call out of our city limits and for both fire or police, we're there. And so that's...
If we're on another call and we call them for backup to come on all the way in our area, they come without hesitation. I mean, it's pretty much like that across the county.
So we've done things like this before, maybe not just public safety, but roads with Murfreesboro, for example. We've worked on the depot area in Smyrna. I think, we gave them some land there. I know at least that much. Laverne with their library, the county gave quite a bit of money for that, and the deal was that was all they'd ever asked for. And to my knowledge, they haven't since. So, I mean, we've got precedents there where we've done it, and this looks, to me, and it looked to the Public Safety Committee, like it was a good two-way street. And it wasn't going to be one way.
Public safety recommend 100,000 for the full 500,000.
It recommended the full 500,000 with 100,000 each year.
Plus,
Not that I'm not supportive of this, that's a little bigger ticket than some of these other items have been. I think we gave Motlow, they came asked for $1 million, we gave them 200,000, 100,000 a year over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. So this is a lot of money.
We just recently gave them $405,000 for Motlow for their third building.
Yeah, on the second time around.
Yeah.
plus they've already got 2 full-time people Monday through Friday, and we anticipate with this project, and they have in living quarters, bedrooms and showers and stuff, that they would hire more and have a full-time staff there, which would enhance, back us up too, and give us more paid firefighters out in the county.
I think too, and I believe you agree that the state of volunteerism in fire services is not what it once was. And
But it's
when we
across the
have-
nation like that.
Yeah, and when you have a building such as we have at this point, I think it's hard to get anybody excited about coming to help out with something like that. And this may be the wrong reasons to be a volunteer firefighter, but in a newer facility with modern amenities, I think we would see some more community support come back out to some. And that's again not the primary intent, but I think it helps.
So we have agreements in place, or are you going to be working on
We do
agreements?
not have
as
the
far
agreement
as-
drafted yet.
Well, I kind of think it'd be appropriate to have that agreement before we do a final vote, and I'm in favor of doing this. I'd just like to know what the agreement would be before I make a final vote at the full commission. Is that going to be possible?
Well, it may not be possible by
Next
the
Thursday
15th.
night.
Now, I think this is not, we're not going to actually pay over any money until they get their loan all lined up where they've got the permanent money available. We can do it before then. So we can approve this contingent upon a final agreement being developed. Maybe we don't actually get it approved, the agreement, until, we wouldn't pay the money out anyway until maybe, it might be August.
Well, the reason I say this, and I've been involved with fire departments for a long time, of course, you know, as you have different administrations move into a municipality, there can be a huge difference on how the fire department's treated. Now, I could name some names and you know, point that out, but that's why I'm saying we need an agreement in place before we do it. And I'm in full favor of doing this, just like to see that agreement.
I would hope to be some thresholds about level of staffing or something like that as years go by and our money hit those points before we write that check, because as he said, downturn in the economy, new council members come on, they put an emphasis on another thing, and the fire department kind of dries up to some extent, you know, and I wouldn't want to be still writing a $100,000 check if the thing was not operational or something like that.
Well,
And I think that's pretty easy to put in practice.
There's been administrations that have completely stopped departments from going into the county. That's why I'm bringing this up, so.
I think another thing was this 100,000 a year would not be given until the due date for the loan repayment for that year was going to be.
And the first payment, and then thereafter every year, annually. I mean, and that's, even when people think that you're not going to have a loan even approved to be executed before August commission meeting, right? So you could make a motion to approve this contingent upon the development of an agreeable interlocal agreement, and we would hold off. We're not going to disperse any money anyway, and then we bring that back to you in August, because we don't have time to get it by the 15th.
Well, to show you I meant what I said, I'll go ahead and make that motion with it contingent upon an agreement coming to us and county approving that.
I'll second.
The commission.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Mr. P. and Schaefer basically giving our blessing for this, but for the mechanics of it all to come back through the committee process in August.
On that agreement, I guess we probably ought to start back with public safety on the agreement and then get there. Okay.
The only thing I have a question is it anticipated it's going to happen in next fiscal year? The loan will
Yes,
be done
yes,
in next fiscal year?
yes.
Okay.
Now, when I say the loan, at minimum, the interim financing, I mean, to begin the process,
So
you know,
is
of construction.
our
and-
commitment is when the first loan payment is due?
But the first one is when they
The city
close the
closes
loan.
on the loan. Okay,
When
so
they get a
you
permanent
anticipate
loan
the permanent loan, so when
to build the
The
whole.
permanent loan may or may not be in,
next fiscal
well,
year?
let me think about that. It could be. I mean, it's one of those projects that it very well could hover over fiscal years. I'm just not sure. It kind of depends on how quickly the process we're in right now with architectural design goes more than anything.
Okay.
You still ain't get the answer you want.
It's a maybe.
Make it up, Bill, so we get those babies from you.
You tell the county it could be, they start quitting. Anyway, I think, does everybody understand the motion, and the mayor is gonna work with,
We're going to work with
People and-
Eagle.
and,
Larry and I
uh,
just had our real first discussion today about what should be contained, some of the components of this agreement, okay?
And a lot of that probably based on NFPA 1710 for municipal fire departments on the staffing.
So we'll,
I think it's got great support, we just wanna make sure we do this correctly when we do it.
okay.
Is everybody in favor, if everybody's okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Now, do we even need to take this to the full commission, or just, we'll just take this once it comes back through the process?
Yeah.
And potentially, I'll
At least it will decide
Well,
what we're going to do about the 100,000.
appreciate you all being here tonight.
I'm just not gonna put it in there. I need it when we
We'll
get
amend the budget
the funds in
when we
the,
get all this, if there's loan closing this year.
right. There's fund, we've got a balance in the restricted for capital, so it's already restricted in nature, so there's, we can do that closer to the time.
Yes.
Okay, we all good? Got a general fund budget amendment for reappraisal. Mr. Mitchell, well,
Sir. Thank you. Mine should be fairly simple, just transferring money from equipment to equipment repair.
From assessor to reappraisal.
Right.
any questions, Mr. Mitchell?
What kind of equipment is it?
It's sorters and stuffers that we insert the letters into.
Motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Pegg. Commissioner Jernigan? Any further questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening.
You too. We've got an ambulance service fund budget, fund amendment, and transfers. You handling those?
I will handle it. Okay, they are requesting a transfer of funds from their contracts with private agencies into their other contracted services. $7,000 there for that move. The next one is transferring $3,000 from communications to office supplies. Next one is recognizing $4,000 in additional revenue to offset refunds. And then they need additional funds in part-time personnel, taking monies from the paraprofessional payroll. And the reason they've got on here is due to more personnel in FMLA and turnover, they're using more part-time people to work.
I believe you warned us about that coming. I remember hearing you talk about that during the budget process. Any questions?
I move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Ely.
Second.
Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Schaefer. you have a
Yeah,
question?
wasn't there an autopsy? They asked for an increase in autopsy money.
But
Was that this
That's in
month?
the general fund.
That's in a different budget.
Okay. Okay, got you.
Any further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Got Tennessee Disaster Recovery Services contract for OIT.
Mayor's handling that.
Mr. Mayor, you handling that one?
Oh, okay. What this is, the state of Tennessee has three very, very secure locations where people partner with them and store information. So that's one of our locations in Smyrna, Tennessee, whereby we have some servers in there, which is basically continuously being updated with our data. So we're backing all this stuff up, you might say, on a reoccurring basis. We've had this contract already 5 years. This is the second 5-year go-round. It costs us $1,036 a month to do that, and this is a simple renewal of that agreement we have with them for this secure storage of our critical data.
So how much is it in a month?
$1,036 a month, I believe you told me.
So this will be another 5-year contract.
That's what it is presently, so there's no increase.
No increase.
I remember when this first came up, so I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer. Commissioner Jernigan. Other questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. General fund budget transfer for correctional workhouse. You handling that one?
That is mine. This is adjusting payroll where sometimes when there is turnover and they pay out, or people come in and they pay more than what we had budgeted. So we're just making sure that there's sufficient funds in each of the line items and requesting money out of the sergeant lines to put into the lieutenant part-time.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne.
Second.
Commissioner Ely. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Got general fund budget transfer for juvenile detention. Ms. Duke, welcome.
Thank you. All right, I have a couple things tonight. The first, I have two separate budget transfers. I don't know if you want to take them together or separate.
If there's no objection, we'll do them together. Let's keep going.
Okay, the first one is for a total of $18,800, and that is to pay down some comp time, and then to provide additional funding for a new employee that had more experience credit than the prior employee, and so that's within our existing budget. And the second transfer is also within our existing budget. It is $15,000 from, $1,500, thank you, from our other contracted services to data processing, and we're going to get one computer set up with that money.
Motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne. Commissioner Schaefer. Any questions of Ms. Duke? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Contract for supplemental education services for juvenile detention.
Yes, this is a contract with the local Board of Education and Rutherford County Juvenile Detention. The Board of Education is the new middleman per se for the Title I grant money that we've been getting for several years. And this is just a contract that explains what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And I'm hoping for approval for the mayor to sign off on it.
Make a motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
Second.
Commissioner Allen. Any questions? Mr. P, you look like you got a question on it.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. If not, call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. And we got a contract for juvenile detention care services for Hardin County.
Yes, this is my last item tonight. It is the same contract that we've had approved by the county attorney's office for several years with the additional PREA language on that last page, and it's just to allow us to enter into agreement to hold Hardin County juveniles if and when they ask, and if there is bed space for them.
Have we had them before?
No. They were using Memphis, I believe, and they are looking for someplace better to send their children.
Do we usually always have best best, or do we turn
Oh,
people
yeah, no,
away?
well, I don't believe it's gonna be a problem, but there's been a couple times when we were almost capacity and we had maybe 5 beds left. And, we've probably turned over the many years a handful of, out of county.
I've always thought it was smart to have that verbiage in there, that way you don't fill up, and then when you've got a local juvenile needs to go in, so.
I don't believe it'll be a problem.
Well, we should be able to deny any individual anyway.
Oh, yeah.
When I remember those contracts, so is there some high profile people we wouldn't want?
Right.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Eden?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms. Duke. Got a general fund budget transfer for emergency management. Mr. Cass, welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing? The first thing is, like you mentioned, the budget transfer, and this is kind of a year-end thing to get a piece of test and equipment for communications. I'll use my own interpretation of it, because since if I gave you my comms guide, none of us would understand what he meant by it. Basically, radios over time get out of tune. They don't initially hold the right frequency that you have it tuned to. This piece of equipment will give us the capability for the county to take radios, put them on there. If they're a newer type of radio, it'll auto-tune them itself. The older ones will have to be manually tuned, but it's a piece of equipment. We got to looking around at some of our line items, and because we're good on some expenses, wanted to move some money around so we could purchase this piece of equipment. This also means that the emergency services folks within the county wouldn't necessarily have to contract and take their radios to other locations and pay per radio to have this done. We would have the capability to do it in-house. It's something my comms guy has been bothering me about, but since it was a little bit more expensive, I told him we'd see what we had at the end of the year.
So if I bring my fire radio to you, you'll tune it up if you had this equipment?
Yeah. Right now, I just look at you, but no.
Well, I appreciate you finding this within your budget. That's a big plus for me, so.
It just seemed like the right thing to do.
A bulk of that money's coming from rentals. What was that line item?
Well, and we'll go to that here in just a second. One of the things I'm going to show you is a lease for a tower site that we'd hoped would be already in place. And it was going to run us about $2,000 a month. I put it in last year's budget, but it didn't materialize. So, but today, I'm going to show you that lease and we'll move forward with that. But that's where that's why that money became available.
What are the wishes of the committee?
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Fee.
Second.
Commissioner Allen. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Eden?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. We've got a communication tower lease agreement for emergency management.
As
You
Commissioner
segued
Allen
perfectly
referred to
into that
just
one.
well, yes, good segue. This is in order to give us a better communications capability in that part of the county. We call it the Eagleville Tower. Of course, it's not just going to be for Eagleville, it's for that whole area over there. What we want to do, there's a couple of utilities that are discussing the possibility of their own tower sites out there, but that has not quite materialized yet, and we want to provide communications to that area. This is a company that they are in the business of providing tower sites to commercial as well as governmental agencies. I will tell you that I don't like the cost of it. That's why it's not a permanent solution, but it's a Band-Aid until we get this going. It's a 5-year lease, but we can cancel it with a 90-day written notice. I have no intention of discussing this in 5 years.
Well, if one of the utility companies gets a tower, we'll get a spot on there for
That's what I'd like to do.
cheaper, if not
Oh,
free.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I do have other towers that we lease. One of them is Middle Tennessee Electric in Smyrna, and it's not the same amount, but I pay between $2,000 and $3,000 for the entire year. So that's where I want to be. But for right now, for the sake of the first responders and the citizens out there, we do need to go ahead and improve this and get something going.
What are the wishes of the committee?
Well, this could be just a very short while. Is- and that's what he's definitely hoping, and that's why I'll make a motion that we approve the request.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
I'll second it, but I do want to ask you a question or two about this. And I know how important it is to have good communication. I mean, it can be life-threatening if you don't. But at one time, I know that the federal government was offering grants, whereas if a company came into your county, that they would actually help with the construction cost of that tower, with the stipulation that the county or the agency would have access to that tower. Have you looked into any of that?
I'm not familiar with that, sir, but I will go back and look at that. Now, we're talking about, this is on an existing tower.
Right, and I understand that, but you were talking about for future.
Oh, yes, sir.
What you were going to do in the future, but I know at one time, I know Commissioner Farley and I had both looked at that when we were on planning. And for some reason, these agencies were resisting that, and basically what they were doing was paying for the extra height that would add another location on there, which would give, say, the county a spot, or, say, either for fire or police or ambulance. But I know that that was out there available, and like I said, I never could figure out why most of these guys fought that. They would come up with song and dance about, well, there'd be interference and this kind of stuff, but I have a hard time swallowing that.
It's a grant that's
There was federal money
to get them
available to do that.
so that they would also help government agencies with
You
emergency.
don't find it, holler back at me, and I'll
Okay.
I'll get communication with these guys that I was working with at that time, so
Well, for what you just said, I wouldn't say.
I think it'd be worth looking into.
Yes, sir, it
so.
definitely is. Definitely. Because anytime we can do it for less.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Motion is to approve the lease. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. We've got a hazardous material emergency planning grant for emergency management.
This is a grant, like I said, it's for hazardous materials and emergency planning. What I'm asking for them to do is what we have in the EOC for emergency operations is some very old, now I'm losing the name of them. They're not even computers. They're the old Google. Anyway, what we're trying to do is purchase laptops with a charging cart. And it's an 80-20 grant match. And part of it is for EOC operations as well as training on hazardous materials. A lot of hazardous materials, like other training, is online. And this will enhance the capabilities of our EOC, especially when and if we stand it up for emergency operations. Because we don't have, like a lot of other EOCs do, we don't have workstations sitting there waiting for our emergency services coordinators, no matter where they come from, to sit there and utilize. And this will cover us for that. And then being laptops means that if I need to relocate the EOC, it's a lot easier than relocating desktops. There are times, I don't know if y'all saw, anytime we have a countywide emergency, the EOC is going to be the one I'm in now. But let's say that emergency is down in Eagleville, and there's a place where I can go and set the EOC up closer to the actual incident. We would probably do that within 24 to 48 hours. That's assuming that the incident is only contained in that one area. You'll see others do it. Putnam County did it with the ice storm. They started off in Cokeville and ended up moving to Monterey because that's actually where the problem was. But having laptops as our main usage for all our ESCs would be the way to go, and this was an inexpensive way to take care of it.
The grant's $14,000.
Yeah, they're giving us 14, and we'll pay for the cart, which is 35, which is a charging cart. Because they'll just sit there and go dead if I don't mess with them.
They don't give you much time to get it done.
No.
Is the charging cart part of our 20% match?
Yes, that's the part we're going to purchase. And I've already talked to OIT and talking about some different platforms, and And what we're looking at is about 15 of them.
Well, the wishes of the committee.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Ball. Any further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Ball?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Cass. You have a good evening.
You too, go Preds.
We've got an increased cash on hand for the circuit court clerk. Ms. Harrell, welcome.
Thank you. I just need to increase a cash drawer for $50. That's
I don't know if we can approve that or not. That's enough.
Can we do that over 5 years?
We'll give you $10 a year next 5 years.
Second.
Commissioner Allen, Commissioner Ely. Any questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Ball?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yeah.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Alright.
If anybody doesn't think county government is transparent, we're up here tonight, Ms. Harrell has to come to increase her cash drawer by $50. This will have to be voted on. Hopefully this will be on the consent agenda next week. But, you know, so this is how transparent county government is. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
We got a general fund and drug fund budget transfer and amendment for the sheriff's office.
I don't think we can top that, so.
Sheriff, Preble, how are y'all tonight?
Thank you.
Do y'all want to do, can we do all three of these at once, or do we need to stop at the
Are
drug
they
fund?
different
thing?
funds?
They are. One's a general
One
fund,
is-
one's jail fund, one's drug fund.
And one, we put two on one amendment
Oh,
because
okay.
it is two funds moving from one to another fund, so,
Yeah,
but I think they could approve it together.
Because they're kind of interrelated.
But not the drug fund part.
Well, the drug fund, it's related to the
Oh, it's
general
related.
fund,
It's
so
related. It's
I
related
think that
funds.
they could go ahead and do it.
If anybody has any objection to stop us tonight, y'all just go over them and we'll vote at once, and they can make the paperwork.
Do what you need.
Okay.
Mark, is this in line with what y'all have? What you gave me?
We've got sale of recycled materials
Here,
to other
here, do
supplies
it
is
this
our
way,
first one.
and that way it starts with what they've got.
Okay, the first line item, or the first request, is that we recognize $4,600 from our sale of recycled materials to put in our 499, jail 499, to buy ground keeping items for the SO. When y'all came by, we're trying to spruce it up a little bit, so.
This next one is one to fix salaries.
You want to go through all of them, sex offender registry too?
That's the one we need to make a note of. First.
The first one, we do need to call your attention, instead of it being 107 detectives, it needs to be 109 captains. And that's a change, and so it's the 8,000 from new service, which is the SROs, to captains. And again, this is just moving money within, $1,000 in related benefits, overtime from the sheriffs, move it into the sex offender registry, their overtime to cover it. Then the last one is for the jail, and that's moving money from the guards to the other salary and wages. So again, it's like some of the ones that you've seen tonight is we've checked all the salary accounts because we do not want any lines to be overdrawn by the end of the year.
Everybody get that?
Oh, sorry.
One more.
Okay. You want to do this one?
The drug fund.
Drug fund and
What I said in public safety is what it comes down to is the drug fund is reimbursing the general fund for the narcotics detectives overtime. And it's that time, and then we'll probably pay some more at the end of the year once we finish the physical year. So that's what this is. It's taking money from restricted and putting in the general fund to repay us for their overtime money.
So it's $75,000,
That's the 75,000.
which is the 63,390 paid and
And the
Yeah,
benefits.
And it's being used.
Right.
I make a motion to approve the request.
approving all three basically.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Commissioner Schaefer and Allen, any further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you very much,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Good evening. Got a general fund budget amendment for pause. Mr. Gregory, welcome.
We did bids for the renovation of our lobby. They came back higher than what we had budgeted. I brought the old one back, so don't go with that. So we worked with the contractor to bring that price down around 20%. What we're asking to do is come into a Midland budget, pulling money from our donation line, and the mayor's offered some money that within his budget to help assist with the architectural cost so that we can proceed forward with this renovation project.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Commissioner Schaefer. Any questions or discussion?
This is like the area where you're bringing, say, animals in that you're giving up for adoption. Is that the area you're
No.
talking about?
This is the lobby where you come in to adopt and to view.
To the front
Where it has the
area.
fishbowl. We did some renovations within our current budget. Maintenance helped us out to install a sliding door to make 2 receiving desks so that when it's busy and we have the staff, we can have that process go a lot faster. And also by doing that, it's going to assist as part of the project to save costs. We offered to shut down the lobby for 6.5 weeks. So we'll be using receiving for the lobby and receiving. So by having those 2 computers in there and 2 workstations, that kind of set us up for this renovation as well.
Okay.
I guess I'm getting old, but see, that, I still think of that as a new building. It's like we just built it.
Yeah.
We're renovating.
It is, but you have to realize too, since '04, 13 years what the population's done, by having that fishbowl area right in the middle, the traffic flow that we see through there, it doesn't work anymore.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Any further questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
There was one more thing that's not on there, but Lisa and I talked about this, and I've had a discussion with the mayor and with Sonia at HR, and kind of wanted your blessing to go forward. In next year's budget, we asked for a part-time position to be able to open for adoptions on Sundays, and the mayor included that into that budget. But we knew also at the same time that we were applying for a grant, hopefully help to pay for that. I did receive an email a couple weeks ago that we had received that grant to offset that. We do have another issue though that we know is coming down the pike in the fall. One of my current supervisors is going to be taking FMLA leave and then not returning after that leave due to the birth of a new child. When they go out, there's a period there where they can take their 16 weeks worth of time, and then, you know, if we wait during that time, their leave will run out, but they'll still technically have to hold their spot for that full 16 weeks. And if I post it after the 16 weeks and we interview and hire and all that process, we could potentially be without a supervisor for around 6 months. So I'm asking for your all's approval of the concept to go ahead and bring in someone a couple of weeks before this person is scheduled to leave, so they can do training with them and then pick up that position. When the current person just rolls off, they would terminate out. But it allows me to have some continuity there, which is going for 6 months without a critical position. Being that the money is in the part-time for next year for that $21,000, it's about the same money as what we'd be looking at. Not asking to change the budget as presented for next year right now, but just the concept that you all agree with us having 2 folks in that one position with some overlap, and then coming back once the numbers settle and the termination date is finalized and all that, and do it a budget amendment out of our part-time.
to make that happen. Sonia helped me do some figures on that. When I spoke with the mayor, he was in agreement, but Lisa said we needed to bring it before you all and public safety. I did speak to Commissioner Schaefer earlier in the week. I forgot public safety doesn't meet in June. We're looking at kind of bringing this person in the end of August, so I would need to host it probably the second week of July. So I've kind of missed some of those deadlines, so that's why we're bringing that to you all tonight after discussion with Lisa.
How long will overlap this be before they leave and
The health
this person
insurance
starts?
The health insurance, I believe, if my understanding is correct, can go up to the full 4 months, even if they're out of the leave. Based on what we're looking at as far as their accrued annual and sick time, I think it was somewhere in the 8 to 10 week range, and that fluctuates depending on if they have to take any leave between now and then, or when they actually go out. We're anticipating bringing someone in, I believe August the 28th is what we were looking at, and then that would start that overlap period.
I was just asking, I couldn't see 6 months or something like that, and that's,
Their leave will run out, their accrued paid leave will run out before the health insurance does. Now, Sonia said there was an option there based on the length the employee has been with us. They could put out at that time if they chose to ask for employee sick leave donation, so they could take that full 4 months and then terminate then, and then that starts my new hire process. So that's why I said it could be upwards of 6 months or even better without having that position. I just think that'd be very tough for us to do. Wasn't counting on the money from the grant coming in. Was hopeful that it would. Was thankful that the mayor, thought enough to put it into the budget for next year. So I guess it's kind of a blessing because it will help us even things out next spring. But I do need.
I think what he's saying is that we've got the money for the part-time expense, for the appropriation. We didn't budget the revenue until, you know you got it for sure. And it comes through y'all and you approve it. So at some, next year we'll be amending that revenue in. And part-time, and then
So we can
part-time
afford this
moving.
position since the grant came through, basically.
That's how he's going to
Yeah.
use to help.
Plus, you only have 2 supervisors, is that correct?
Yes.
So if one's gone, one person besides himself around it.
What happens if, before the end of the time, the person decides they like their job, they want to come back?
Before we start this process, they're going to be giving me a resignation letter in advance. That was something that Sonia and I had discussed, stating that yes, they would be terminating at the end of their leave or at the end of that 4 months, depending on which comes first. But yes, no, that was a definite question. I can't have 2 people in the same position and her want it back.
So actually, what do we want budget to do, Lisa?
Just approve that process. I mean, we just talk about transparency, that y'all are okay with us paying 2 people in the same position.
Do we need something in writing to know what we're approving?
I think
mean-
a lot of times, sometimes we'll have.
Is this something we take to the full commission?
No. A lot of time, if you remember, over time, sometimes the sheriff will have that, somebody will leave and that they're on military leave, we're holding a position, but we ask permission to bring another one in temporarily to fill that. So it's more or less to give y'all a heads up what we're doing, that we're not
We
doing
just did that in
something
codes,
crazy.
didn't we? We just did that same thing in codes, didn't we?
right.
Yeah.
So that's all, it's just more or less FYI, y'all are agreement, and I think it just stops here.
Do we have any motions or anything, or we just got through explaining?
No, we don't have a motion.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we allow this process to be started and continue, contingent on
And provide
getting-
an overlap within the supervisor's position, while
Yes.
one of the current supervisors out on FMLA.
Yes, providing
On
the
maternity leave.
supervisor that's out on maternity leave signs a resignation statement.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer. Commissioner Allen? Any further questions or discussion? This is a little out of the ordinary way we're doing it without any paperwork in front of us. So if everybody's okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
I appreciate Sonia, the mayor, and Lisa's help on this. I know this was a little bit confusing. Lisa and I had a couple of conversations on it, but I appreciate y'all's help.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Director.
you.
You have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Solid Waste Fund budget transfer and amendment. Mr. Nolan.
How are you?
Fine, happy birthday. Today is
Well, thank you.
our Solid Waste Director's birthday. What a way to celebrate with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wouldn't be anywhere else. Which one are we doing first, leach aid or?
Convenience center.
Utilities and fencing.
We're going to run short on money in utilities and communications and convenience center budget. We want to take the money from the fencing line item, which is in the same budget. So we want to take 5,000 out of fencing, put 2,000 into utilities and 3,000 in communications. And also at the landfill, the data processing, that is for the landfill tickets for the trashes coming in and the tires. We want to take $1,500 out of the equipment line item and move into the processing line item. And also at the landfill on the post-closure care, we want to take $10,000 out of our fund balance and put into the contracts for post-closure care, and that would be for leachate. Really concerned we may not have enough money in there. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but we need to have it there in case we do.
On which the committee. Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan. Commissioner Allen. Further questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Thank you very
Matt.
much.
Don't celebrate too hard.
Okay. Too old to celebrate too hard.
General fund budget transfer for general sessions.
This is a small amendment, only 500, but the particular line that they are requesting to increase has already been changed more than 1,000. So that's why you're seeing it. They're requesting 500 from their DP equipment to move into their office supplies for the rest of the fiscal year.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne.
Second.
Commissioner Allen, I believe, on that, Russ. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. We've got a general fund budget transfer for health department.
And Ms. Garrett is concerned that she will be short in her communication line. She needs $4,000 and has it available in her drugs and medical supplies.
What does the communications line cover?
Their phone bills.
Gotcha. Is there a reason we were so short? Because 4,000 is a big number to be off in phone bills.
I don't know if there was any equipment that they purchased. Sometimes the equipment will run in on the bill.
25% of the budget, basically.
Is she one of the ones that had that upgraded phone system, or she got to that yet?
No.
I don't think so.
I was thinking that might be related, but
Is this included with the money that we're typically reimbursed by the state, or is this our?
No, this was ours.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. General purpose school budget amendment. Mr. Sandvik, welcome. Mr. Sandvik is here with us tonight when he should be out celebrating his 40th anniversary, so happy anniversary.
Thank you, sir. I
You
have,
tell me stuff, I just tell everybody.
I have 5 general purpose school fund, kind of our routine cleanup amendments. I'll have 4 or 5 more that we'll present to the board next week and visit with you all later on. The first one is employee insurance. It reallocates $391,015 in already budgeted employee insurance to the budget lines where we need it, based on our current employees and changes made at open enrollment. No new funds. This is, so often with our numbers, they're huge. It's just under 1% of our total medical insurance in the general purpose school fund budget. Our recommended motion is to amend $391,015 in already budgeted employee insurance to the employee insurance budget lines where it is needed based on our current employees and changes made at enrollment.
If we don't get any objection, we'll just take these all at once. But if that suits you.
At the spring fiscal conference, the state notified us that a centralized warehouse is the only type of operation they want charged to function 72-810 central and other. They've changed that over the years. So we don't have one, nor do we want one. We presently have $893,714 in expenditures budgeted in this function. $415,352 in legal and community relations expenditures are being moved to function 72-320 Director of Schools, where we had them in 2015 and 16. $286,989 in school safety expenditures are being moved to plant operation, function 72-610, and $191,373 in telephone system expenditures are being moved. They want us to combine them with our technology function, 72-250. And this amendment will line up the reporting of our current year expenditures with the 2017-18 budget. Recommended motion to amend $893,714 in already budgeted 2016-17 expenditures from function 72-810 central and other, with $415,352 in legal and communication and community relations expenditures being moved to function 72-320 Director of Schools, $286,989 in school safety expenditures being moved to plant operation, function 72-610, and $191,373 in telephone system expenditures being moved to technology, function 72-250 as presented. No new money, just moving it around again. The third amendment is reallocating our already budgeted substitute teacher funds and adding a little to that. Our fill rate has been over 90% this year, as opposed to about 84% last year. We raised the pay that they get also, which contributed to that. But this amendment totals $385,800. It reallocates $353,700 in already budgeted substitute teacher funds to the line items certified and/or classified when money is needed. And it did increase the budget $32,100, and covering that by moving $27,509 in special ed teacher pay and related benefits. And this $32,000 increase is a 1.1% increase over our already budgeted subs. Our recommended motion is to amend $353,700 in already budgeted substitute teacher funds to the appropriate substitute teacher line items and to cover an additional $32,100 in substitute teacher pay by moving $27,509 in special ed teacher pay and related benefits as presented. Item 4. This certified staff amendment reallocates a total of $1,006,109 in certified salary and benefits, $668,644 in pay, and $97,465 for the related payroll benefits are being moved to other certified staff line items. This amendment, and usually you don't do this, I'll explain it, also covers an additional $240,000 in contract services for high-cost special ed students. No new funds are being moved in this amendment, and it's 0.39% of that piece of our budget. Normally, I try to avoid amending salary dollars outside of salary. This, and to a lesser extent, the special ed pay in the previous amendment. With special ed, we have maintenance of effort. They look at current expenditures, current budget, next year budget. It looks at state for our, federal for our federal IDEA, preschool projects, all of that. I didn't want to increase the special ed budget for this year by $240,000 in case it affected maintenance. The initial maintenance of effort will be based on this budget. So that's why I didn't just increase special ed by a little over $250,000. The recommended motion is to amend a total of $1,006,109 in certified salary and benefits, with $668,644 in pay and $97,465 for the related payroll benefits being moved to other certified staff line items, and $240,000 for additional contract services for high-cost special ed students as presented. Another thing that you might want to know, but one reason we pay some of these high-cost services out of our general purpose school budget, if we use federal funds, that's it. Each year there is a pot of money, and most years I bring you an amendment sometime in the fall to winter. For our high-cost students, there's some pot of money available, federal funds allocated by the state that will help support our GP expenditures for high cost. So we won't get any of it. Now this year it was some $600,000. It's not that huge in what we paid to educate them, but we wouldn't get money coming in at all if we didn't do it that way. So that's why we do it. We could charge them to federal, but we'd get none of this secondary pot. It'll range from 350, it may have hit 800,000 one year. The amount the feds fund varies. Classified staff, more than I should have said. The classified amendment allocates $169,995 in classified pay, $26,733 in related benefits, the line items where it's needed. The transfers are due to vacancies, staff turnover, and storm damage. The maintenance overtime was for that. This is one of our routine year-end amendments and covers 0.52% of classified staff budget. Recommended motion to amend a total of $196,728 in classified pay and related benefits, the classified staff lines where it is needed. Those are the GPS amendments.
Okay, we've heard those five. Any questions or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond? Yes. Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan? Here. Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Durden?
Yes. Centralized cafeteria.
My cleanup amendment for the centralized cafeteria fund budget, Fund 143. This amendment budgets an additional $145,000 in additional net revenues and an additional $145,000 in net expenditures. Each year when this budget is approved, we don't have the federal meal reimbursement amounts, so we know that number is going to be wrong every year. And our goal with this fund is to maintain 3 months of operating funds and keep the program funded with current revenues. So our recommended motion is to amend the centralized cafeteria fund, number 143, by a net increase in revenues of $145,000 and an offsetting increase of $145,000 in net expenditures as presented.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Schaefer. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Durden?
Yes. Educational capital project
Yes,
fund
sir.
budget amendment.
I think we get again another cleanup amendment. This one, the only thing we're really having to clean up is the trustees commission, because otherwise it would be an audit finding for going over. So we're budgeting an additional $86,000 $4,545 in net revenues, $4,545, which I know is overkill, but I don't want to take a chance, and sending the rest to the committed for capital projects account, the fund balance for that account. Recommended motion to amend the capital projects fund number 177 and increase additional net revenues by $86,545, increase trustees commission by $4,545, and to increase the committed for capital projects account by $82,000 as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Fee? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Durden?
Yes. Okay, we got a school building program fund
Yes. Okay.
amendments.
And again, this is a routine cleanup, even though one of the numbers is $10 million, and I'll explain why that is routine. It cleans up line items within existing projects. Our goal whenever a project is approved is to stay in budget. We really try to. But so we'll put the money, we won't break it down all the way, and we'll move money back and forth. We used to be bringing these up 3-4 times a year. We've kind of moved to once or twice a year and just stay in the budget of the project. So Roy Waldron moving $62,264. The John Coleman edition, $15,780. Rocky Fork Middle, $10,307,445. But nearly 9.8 million of that is moving money between the construction and site development. When the budget's approved, we don't know, and depending on how the project is bid and negotiated, varying amounts will wind up in site development. So that's why that number is so big. Rocky Fork Elementary, $5,423. The David Urey edition, $20,305. Smyrna Middle renovation, $61,512. Rockvale High School, $11,330. A total of $10,484,059. The second part that we do is moving funds to other projects. So closing out Eagleville Phase 1, $1,787, and we keep the split between shared and not shared money the same. So we're putting $825 to the Laverne and Smyrna High stadium projects, and just to stick it in a place for elementary money, $962 to Rocky Fork Elementary furniture, fixture, and equipments. At the John Coleman project, we were able to move $592,366, and we're asking to use $58,524 at Roy Waldron for furniture, fixtures, and equipment as part of that project, and the remaining $533,842 put toward Rocky Fork Elementary furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So the recommended motion is to amend $10,484,059 in line item adjustments within already budgeted construction projects, to amend $1,787 from the completed Eagleville Phase 1 project to Laverne and Smyrna High Stadium projects, and to amend $592,366 from the almost complete John Coleman School to furniture, fixtures, equipment at Roy Waldron and Rocky Fork Elementary Schools as presented. And the detail sheets are here for you all to look
You've heard the recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Fee? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Durden?
Yes. We've got an increase to centralized cafeteria.
Yes, sir.
Cash on hand.
Okay. With opening a new school, we have to have cash bank for the cafeteria fund. And we are currently approved for $11,880 for our, well, and all of them have even if we don't have a cafeteria, we satellite operations for our, so that's for our 46 schools. For our 47th school, we're asking for an additional $120 in a cash bank for next year, which will increase our total petty cash on hand to $12,000. And our recommended motion is to increase the centralized cafeteria fund 143 petty cash on hand by $120 for the new Rocky Fork Middle School cafeteria, $12,000 in total.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Schaefer, I believe. It's a big decision here, $120.
You can repeat your comment.
Well, we already did it on $50. This is over twice as much, so.
But it's a bigger operation.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan? Yes. Commissioner Pete?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yeah.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You promised not to mess with the school budget. Will you go home for your anniversary?
No, I won't. I trust y'all, but some of y'all might just be too tempted.
Got a general fund budget amendment and transfer for county buildings.
Okay, we took bids
Well,
for,
the first one is 8,500, moving from,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
I'll do
one.
that one.
go ahead.
To increase maintenance, repair buildings with money coming from other supplies and materials, 8,500. And then the next one,
What are we doing on the first one?
oh,
Well, y'all did such a lead up there. I was expecting something big. That's the second one I get.
Miscellaneous repairs.
Miscellaneous
That's what it is.
repairs.
Yeah, just ended up more than budgeted.
Sorry, keep going.
okay, the next one, we talked about in one of our meetings recently.
Last meeting.
Was it the last meeting?
24.
Okay, with money, the bids coming in more than we had budgeted, so I'll give this one to
Okay,
you.
we took bids way back in March on upgrading this HVAC systems throughout this whole building here, and we didn't have near enough money. They bid $750,000. After all of this iteration, we've got them down to $460,000 with modifications and selections of additional subs, et cetera. So we need $46,000 for the engineering services. We need $110,000 for the building improvement. So we've got about $350,000, but we're going to have another $110,000 to actually execute this project. So this is our request. This has been a long journey on getting to the point where we can upgrade what needs to be upgraded here. And it's obvious that it's not going to get any cheaper as time goes on.
Is this replacing the whole system, or what are we doing?
Some of it is replacement. Some of it is, this building is designed whereby, for example, Ted Beatty's office and my office, all is on one control. We don't even have control with a thermostat. So if he's hot, we may be cold. So it's trying to, and this room right here is with that space behind us there and others. So this is trying to get us up where we've got some real individual controls that people can be comfortable in the space they're in.
Creating zones.
Creating some, yeah, that's part of it, yes.
These are the same numbers you warned us about the other night when we were
Yes,
talking about the unassigned fund
Yeah.
balance. You mentioned this was coming, so this is exactly what you told us was coming.
I'll make a motion to approve both requests.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Ely. Questions or discussion?
Well, some of this HVA system is ready for a change, isn't it?
Some of it is.
Yeah.
Right. Now, we've replaced a few units over the years already, so it's not everything, but some of it is being replaced.
Well, the new units too will be more modern, more efficient. There'll be some savings in that too.
One thing I'm gonna just mention, unless I've missed something, up till now, we've only spent about $2,800 out of everything we've looked at tonight that wasn't already budgeted. That 28 is on that potential hazmat grant, that 20% match.
And that's
So-
in next year's budget.
Right, and you see, you've seen us kicking these numbers around. I wanted to point out to people, we're not spending anything that hadn't already been budgeted. These are just being reallocated within their line item. until we got this.
Right.
Yeah, up till now, it's been end of the year.
Right.
Should have closed the books out to some extent. But this is gonna happen in this year's budget, correct? I mean, we're gonna get this
Yes,
started, so it'll be a...
we have to get the money appropriated before we
Yeah.
can sign a contract.
We have a motion and a second. Call roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond? Yes. Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan? Yes. Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. General fund budget amendment for employee insurance.
So several of these amendments are all cleanup amendments. So this one is insurance. We did it in January and February, but now that more time's gone by, people have shifted again on me, and so I'm requesting $18,900 from our pooled insurance for employee dependent insurance to go to Register of Deeds, 1,000, about 3 lines in circuit for insurance, pension, and disability. One was a miscalculation. Insurance for circuit court judge, and for other administration of justice, 3,000.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
I'll second that. This is not something we have a lot of choice on. We're
It's
pretty
really-
much committed for this, so.
It's really kind of where people have landed,
Yeah.
you know, with their
People take different
choices.
coverages, or their situation changes, and adjust these numbers as the year goes through. We have a motion and a second. Call roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yeah.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. We got a general fund budget transfer for the district attorney.
Okay, this is where we budgeted for an employee. This is, we had all the new DAs and come in. You know, remember we had that this year coming in September. But the person that they hired was already a county employee who had quite a bit of experience, so their salary was not budgeted as high as what this person would have come in at. But there was money in their insurance to cover that increase. So still just moved money within, but it's all within their department.
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Schaefer. Call roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Got a general fund budget amendment for unemployment.
It's the same thing. We have a pooled amount of 20,000. We never know where the unemployment claims are going to come in, and this was a pretty good year. Only $600 that we are asking to move out of the unemployment pool to GIS, county building, and workhouse.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Peck.
Second.
Commissioner Ely. Call roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Got a general fund budget amendment, revenue and corresponding expenditures.
Okay, kind of want to talk in general before I jump into this general fund. As you look at them, especially for the first line in almost all these budgets, the current property tax, we'll see quite a bit of increase. You know, my initial is, how in the world did I miss it that much? But if you remember, we budget only 95.5% collection of the estimate of where the assessor is at this moment. And what I reported to you today, at the end of May, he's already at 98% collected. So that's what is attributing to this. The other ones, sometimes the next ones down, the trustees, clerks, all of these next ones in this group, I'm saying this, I'm talking about it in this fund, but you'll see it throughout. That is based on our estimate, and then it's spread based on that ratio of the penny of the property tax. However the property tax ratio is, that's how these revenues are distributed. So when, at the end of last year when we were shifting pennies, I never went back and reshifted this group. So I figure sometimes you never know what the money is. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So most of these are decreasing. Well, it depends on the fund, but in this particular one, it's a decrease. As you look through these particularly in the general fund, you see the lines that are yellow highlighted. The whole goal for us in this exercise is to determine how much are we going to be able to put into our unassigned fund balance. So these things that are yellow, the restricted revenues, they can only be spent for a specific thing. So if there is money that a revenue and we didn't spend it all appropriately, it would not go into unassigned fund balance, it would go into a restricted fund balance. So that's part of this. As you see, when you look at it, I've tried to highlight those. It helps me to figure out where these things go to. The other thing, if you remember us talking in the last meeting, that we have several, a large amount in our property casualty reserve set up that our third-party administrator has set up that works through our accounting. We've got to set it up. It causes an expense. The various funds move money into this particular fund that we really don't talk about. You see it coming in. The general fund, the highway, and schools all funnel money into the property casualty. This is where we would run over somebody's mailbox, or the lawsuits and those things of that nature happen in that fund, and you see the money coming out. At the end of the year, we look to make sure that there is sufficient funds to cover all the claims that got paid this year, plus any reserves that the third-party administrator sets up that we potentially are liable. So that's what is happening. This one, I kind of touched on it in our last budget meeting. So after all is said and done, it's going to be at the very end that part of the increase to the revenue, I'm requesting $1.4 million to be appropriated to go into this property casualty fund. I don't know when it will be paid out. It might be paid out next year, but as far as audit is concerned, they will look to make sure that that liability is booked and that there is sufficient funds to pay for it, that we don't have a negative fund balance. That's what we're working on. So just kind of wanted to give that a broad view of the general fund. You can look through each of them.
I assume the bottom line is on the last page, so even with the $1.4 million being allocated to judgments, the unassigned fund balance still goes up almost $3 million.
2.9, yes. That's the end of the end of the story of all the adjustments to revenue. I did make increases. I'm on this last page, that above the yellow in the pink column, judgments going up 1.4 million. Hotel motel tax, I've increased that revenue estimate. Part of that money is funded to Stones River, the Greenway, and to the chamber for the Conventions Bureau, so I'm taking that into consideration. Also, with increased revenue would be increased trustees commission, that's taken out. So, as Commissioner Baum so eloquently said, after all is said and done, we're looking at a $2.9 million increase to our unassigned fund balance. I think we started the year, it was either $6 or $7 million with our use of fund balance to fund the current year. So this closes the gap about $3 million if we get all this that I am projecting. This is done at the end of May. For us, there's still 2 more months of work, 2 more months of collection of revenue that goes into this fiscal year. So these are still projections. So that's the general fund. Do you want to move on?
Do you want action on this or just for information only?
No, this is a budget amendment to increase our estimate of revenue.
I mean, are we going to do one on every?
Yes.
You want to vote on each one individually?
Let's do.
Well, we need a motion on this one then.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Ely. Call the roll.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. All right, solid waste budget amendments to revenue and corresponding expenditures.
Okay, and the same thing is, you can see the various increases and decreases. It's pretty much looking at every single line item in their budget. After increasing the trustees' commission, we would see an increase to their assigned for public health of $429,656.
Any questions, or do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Payne.
Sure.
Commissioner Jernigan? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely? Sorry. I didn't hear.
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Ambulance fund, same thing.
Same thing. The various revenue line items, you'll see that. This one has property tax. After increasing trustee commission by $12,000, we're increasing the estimated revenue by $659,609.
Well, that's good news, because I know we were worried about this account and the upcoming status of it.
Why is that in yellow? Is that,
It just reminded me I needed to.
oh,
It's not restricted.
okay.
That's more general fund.
It is assigned.
It is assigned.
Do we have a motion on this one?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
Sure.
Commissioner Jernigan? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Minus the
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Drug control fund, same thing.
Same thing, with an increase to the trustees commission of $3,516. I put that in the wrong column.
I was saying, that's in the wrong column.
That's in the wrong column. And I bet this did not quite do, hopefully it did. You can come across. But anyway, there'll be an increase to trustees commission of $3,516. And no, it's not. That's not it. There is sufficient funds in this trustees commission, what we estimated, but I am increasing the restricted for public safety of $208,710.
Do we have a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Baum.
Sure.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Does that mean we can, anything dealing with public safety? I mean, like, can you pay off debt on capital projects that deal with public safety?
Out of the drug fund?
Yeah. It says down at the bottom line, it says
Restricted for public safety. The reason why this particular fund has that designation is all the money can only be spent for
Yeah.
the drug fund, and that is classified as public safety.
So did that answer your question?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Now, when you say,
No,
can it
you
be?
can't use it for other public safety things.
Okay, that's what I
Except
did.
Well, that's true, right.
Yeah, okay.
You wouldn't be able to use it for the workhouse.
Or the jail.
Right.
But it's not quite as restricted as we at one time were led to believe way back when.
Right.
Do we have a motion? Yes. We have a motion and a second to approve. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Highway fund budget, same thing.
Same thing. They got quite a nice little boost on their gasoline their gasoline motor fuel tax. That was a nice little increase for them. Their bottom line, with the increase of trustees commission of $20,000 for their assigned for highway and public works, is $621,878.
Does this affect our maintenance of effort in the future going on?
I have to consider this when in looking at that maintenance of effort.
So theoretically, if there were to be another governor elected in a couple of years and they repeal the gas tax, we could get stuck with maintenance of effort from a gas tax they took away from us?
No.
That's what I'm,
There's some exception here, you know.
Well, I mean, their maintenance of effort is kind of different from any of the other funds' maintenance of effort. It is an average of the last 5 years.
But it brings in the mineral tax and all that.
It's all the local
stuff.
tax. If you look at this, it's all the, everything that's listed under county property tax, the sales tax, real tax, business tax, mineral severance, and interest. That's our local effort to this thing. But if, generally, we just make sure that we're providing for the highway department at least the same amount of what we've given them for the last 5 years. I mean, that 5-year thing smooths.
On our portion.
On our local
So that
part.
other part
And
will
it
be-
smooths sometimes when that mineral severance used to be really, really high, like $600,000. Interest was really high, then it started decreasing. We kind of, sales tax it kind of fluctuates, but altogether, I mean, that's the look back. I don't know if that answered your question, but I think if it doesn't really state what the state is giving us, it's only looking at that local portion.
Yeah, but when we had that separate account for, what was it, a percent?
That was,
Penny and a half.
yes, and that's really where
We had
this
to put-
started. And when the commission decided to combine the two,
Did the committee, we were told that.
I thought we were told to combine.
Yeah.
I think we decided.
I'm saying the commission voted to put it together, and once it got together, it became maintenance of effort.
Well, in other words, we've got an increase of $621,878. Does anybody want to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Jernigan. Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peete?
yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Got debt service, same thing.
Okay, so this is, again, the property tax and what this really showed up. If y'all remember, we ended up putting about, 6 cents into this fund, so this is the fund that got more money for those allocated, like business tax is the one that jumps out, 330,000, because of that shift of how the ratio of the money is split. Development tax is a big one. Interest, I told y'all that was going to be huge because this is interest that is earned on the bond proceeds that is going into this fund. After adjusting the trustees commission, we're increasing the assigned for debt service to $2,408,338.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I thought you might. Thank you, Commissioner Baum.
Second.
Mr. Schaefer. Any questions on that? Call the roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Ely?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peete?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Is that all the business we got?
Yes, sir. I used these amounts to increase, we started with what our booked fund balance would be. I've added these additional revenues to it. That's what you'll see at public hearing when I start showing my slides. This will be, even though y'all hadn't approved it, that's how we built the,
And our public
Our slides.
hearing is
Tuesday.
next Tuesday, the 13th at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
In the courtroom. Anybody out there watching is welcome to come give their comments on the budget. And
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock next Tuesday, the 13th.
Wednesday, we have
we come back.
5:30.
And we'll meet the next night. Anything else to come before us tonight? I know some of us might like to get home and watch a hockey game going on somewhere. Go, let's hold your hat up. Go Preds.
Hey,
Yeah.
my wife has even started watching. Until it gets too nerve-wracking, and then she goes to another room. But sports, forget it with
I
her.
can report to you, we're down 1-0. After less than 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, they couldn't have played long. Well, they got plenty of time to come back.
Oh,
If there's nothing else to come for us tonight, we are adjourned. See everybody Tuesday night.
So you just had